I'm your host, Davida Shinsky, and you're listening to Live Without Limits Dreams Come True with the Right Mindset. Today's presentation is titled A Life of Less Stress, Seven Thoughtful Things for You to Consider. Almost everyone can use a little less stress in their lives, and in the aftermath of being stuck inside for months at a time, we've gotten an intimate look at our spaces and place in the world. Four walls can feel really tiny, really quickly, and the depressing distance of inescapable closeness of our relationships tipped many of us over the emotional edge. So clearly, out some physical and emotional clutter may be in order now that life is sort of back to normal. So here's how you know what to keep and what to sweep to simplify and brighten your life. Seven things to ask yourself if you want to have less stress for your consideration when it comes to deciding what stays and what goes in your life. The options are not limited to purchases, possessions, or other inanimate objects. What adds stress to your life can go so far beyond things. It is important to consider all of the interests, activities, and hobbies that you still have that might be adding to your stress instead of alleviating it. You should also critique any ideas, values, beliefs, rituals, behaviors, and patterns that may be problematic for your life. It is difficult to contend with cultural rooms that compete with your peace, but at some point you may need to decide your life comes before social expectations. Lastly, it may be time to take an inventory of the problematic people in your life who don't exactly spark joy for you anymore. It can seem cruel and impersonal to scrutinize your relationships like this, but your brain and body will thank you in the long run because relationships change over time. What you had at one point in time may not be the same at another point in time. Need or want. The first filter is the easiest to assign. Just ask yourself if you need or want what you're examining. Do you have to shed anything at this point? And just because you want something doesn't mean it's automatically slated to go. This is a quick and virtually painless list to fill out. You will be shocked to discover just how much in your life is a comfort or desire rather than a real necessity. This means that your wants list will be much longer than your needs list, and most of your needs will be basic, bottom of the hierarchy of needs required for life and survival. If you're confused as to how to separate a deep desire from an actual need, you may have to ask yourself what your life would look like without you. Would you struggle to survive or stay safe without it? Then it is likely a need. Think of a home, utilities, or perhaps even your smartphone in some cases. Would you be devastated and uncomfortable but ultimately you will live without it, then it's a want. Going without. What would life be like without it? If your life would get harder immediately or in the long run, it might be time to let it go. It can feel confusing when your life could become harder now, but be better later. Or would it be better now, but would leave you struggling long term? But there are other ways to evaluate the things in your life that could be hurting you. Would you miss it? Would you be relieved? Will your friends and family be happy for you? Would it contribute to your success if life is basically the same or worse? With it, or can you do without it? For better or for worse? Ask yourself if having something makes your life better or worse, and how so. This is where things start to become complex and sticky. Sometimes what you hold on to makes things better in some areas of your life and worse in others. They may have a long history of making things better, but could make things worse in the present or future. They could make you feel better in the moment, or are they bad for your health or mental well being? So here you'll have to decide what is important to you and what exceptions you're willing to make. But it is essential that you understand why you make these exceptions, or you will end up keeping things in your life to your detriment and won't understand why your life is still stressful. If you're happy and you know it, remember the song? If you're happy and you know it, find out if keeping things adds to or subtracts from your happiness and how. This is typically easier to determine than whether something is better or worse for you. You know when you're happy and you know when you're not. The trouble is defending keeping something that makes you unhappy and scraping things that bring you joy. What sacrifices are you willing to make in your own happiness? This is, or rather, this may challenge your values, beliefs, culture, and in some ways, your responsibility. The easy button. Do, do the people and things in your life make life easier or harder, or how? It may get complex here again because some things can make your life both easier and harder. For example, certain people in your life may make, for example, childcare or paying bills easier while trampling your boundaries and making your personal life and peace of mind harder. Again, you will have to think about what you're willing to sacrifice to make your life easier or keep your life simple. Healthy living. Also ask yourself if the things in your life make you healthier or unhealthy. This means that the physical effects, as well as the impact of your mental and emotional well being, this is usually more cut and dry, or exceptions for rich foods, alcohol, and other intoxicants. But keeping everything in moderation and understanding the consequences of your consumption and indulgence will help you make better calls in this area. So keep the things that you need or deeply desire that are also meaningful and make your life better, easier, happier, and healthier. The more you hold what you and who stays in your life to these standards, the richer, fuller, and less stressful your life will be. And only you can determine exactly how your life is going to be and whether or not you can reduce the stress in your life or what you can do to help yourself to live the best quality of life possible for yourself.